Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1072. Happy Thursday. Thursday already. I guess we are now at the time of the week where it's like, this is a holiday week? Yeah, Monday was New Year's. I'm all screwed up, even though I work from home. I still have my routines. I was just thinking about that. Like, you think when you go from working in an office, I mean, you're 9 to 5, you're doing the same thing, routine in the morning, same drive to work every day. You're probably going to lunch at the same time every day, get home at the same time, doing the same things, routine. You're thinking, when I work from home for myself, no more routine. And then what's like the number one piece of advice people give you when you transition to work from home? Do a routine. Wear clothes like don't wear sweatpants and hoodies, which I don't wear sweatpants. Sometimes on Sundays I usually do. But I feel more productive when I'm wearing jeans. I can wear a hood. I can get away with a hoodie and still feel productive. But that was like one of the things. I still woke up early. Doing this show keeps me a little late today. But I try to be right at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday. Keep it a routine. Today, put this in my personnel file. I was 15 minutes late. But I still keep a routine. Even lunch. Like, I have a pretty routine schedule. Like, it's noon and I'm like, oh, and I think part of that is because I feed Biscuit lunch. My wife's in the office. So it's like, well, it's lunch. I gotta feed. Like, otherwise I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to eat. Yesterday actually was one of those days where it's like, and Biscuit hasn't been eating lunch. So it was one of those things where it's like, she's not eating anyway, so I'll just delay my lunch. I got stuck watching, and I was in here. I was doing some uploads using Car Dealer Pro 2.0. Check out my eBay store, by the way. Added about another 500 or so singles to the store yesterday, including soccer. So I was yesterday. It wasn't soccer that I was. What the hell was I uploading? I was uploading something yesterday, and I had Dateline on. And so I just happened to catch it at the beginning, and I was, I was so into it that I'm typing away, uploading, cross-checking, and all of a sudden I'd swing my chair around and I'd catch myself watching TV. I normally don't do that. Not even for sport, like not even if the Leathernecks are on or the Badgers are on. Like sometimes I do, but for the most part, I don't really watch TV. I just have it on in the background as background noise. But I got into this Dateline, and it must have been, Dateline must be like 2 hours plus commercials, but this was on, I think, Pluto TV, so it was less commercials. They also have it on Peacock, but they only have like so different. They don't have like every season. So like Pluto just runs all kinds of different ones. And this was the live, like, only they run Dateline. Like, that's what I like about Pluto TV. They have these channels that are dedicated to like Three's Company, like the Three's Company channel. It's all freaking day of Three's Company. They have a Dateline channel. So I just happened to catch this particular Dateline. It was about I think it was the Halloween party with Keith Morrison. Murder. I can't do a good Keith Morrison. So I was about to say I want Keith Morrison to narrate my life. I don't think I want that. Murder. Bill Hader. Yes, Bill Hader does a great Keith Morrison. So I'm watching the Halloween party episode of Dateline. Then I'm just into it. And I'm like, well, it's on at the noon hour. And I'm kind of getting hungry. And we don't have any food. So I also have to make a grocery store run. So I'm like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'll just feed Biscuit. She won't eat. I'll go to Milio's, which is a sub shop. Sub shop here in I think it's just local to Madison. Milio's. It's kind of like a Jimmy John's. It's very similar to Jimmy John's. Their sandwiches and their bread very similar. Jimmy John's? Yeah, Jimmy John's. So I'm like, I'll just do that. And then Milio's is right across the street from Metro Market. Got to get in it's not Pick and Save anymore. It's Metro Market. So right across the street from the store. I'm watching. All of a sudden, it's 1 o'clock and it's still going. We still don't know what happened. Who killed the girl? I'm like, what the hell? I'm hungry. Now I'm really hungry. Usually I ate it like noon. It's 1 o'clock. Like, shit, does this not get over till 1:30? And normally I'm the type, like, I don't get caught up in shows, whether it's a movie or I can get up and like walk away. And like my wife just cannot believe I can just in the middle of a show. We'll binge watch something and I'll be into it. Say we'll binge watch 3 full episodes. And then it's halfway through the 4th episode and I'll just get up. I'm like, I'm going to bed. And she's like, there's still like 30 minutes left. And what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Well, don't you want to finish? That's what she said. No, I'm good. I'm like, you can tell me what happened. We can just start with the next episode tomorrow and you can tell me what happened. Usually what she'll just like, we can just rewatch the last half hour the next time. So, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what season it was. Like, is it available on Peacock? I don't want to go on YouTube and search for this particular episode. I've already invested 2/3 of this episode, my time. I've invested over an hour now in this episode. So I hung tough and I waited until the end. And of course, with Dateline, it's always like, if you don't already know the backstory to these episodes, it's always like, it's not like a whodunit. It's not like they don't introduce the characters in the first 20 minutes. No, they like take you all over the place and like, oh, it's that guy. That guy did it. But then they come back and like, remember Harlan? It actually Harlan, I think Harlan's here. Harlan was the name of one of the potential suspects in this particular episode. But remember Harlan from 20 minutes ago? Well, guess what? It's not him. And it's like, oh, they swerve you all the time. And then all of a sudden, somebody said the last minute. Yeah, the last 5 minutes, it's like some random dude it was this random guy from 70 miles away that we didn't even give you any clues about. And that's who done it. So I watched the Halloween episode. Of course, the last 5 minutes, they introduced the actual killer. And then they did go through some of the trial, like how it proceeded at trial, and now he's in prison. So then I went to Milio's. I had the Californian. I had the Californian at Milio's. And my wife texted me and she goes, I'm going to the store. What do you want? And I'm like, I'm actually, because this is like 1:30 now, and I'm sitting at Milio's. And I treated it like I was actually like on lunch break from an office, which sometimes I like doing. Like, I'm just going to go like I work in an office building and I'm going to go across the street and have lunch. So that's what I did at Milio's. I'm like, actually, I'm at Milio's and I was planning on heading over. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, just get what you want and I'll get what I want. You get what you want. Okay, that works. So she has an office potluck tonight. She's going to make bacon wrap dates. So I get in. Remember yesterday morning, we were talking about mostly condiments. And we also talked about bacon and how my wife doesn't allow me to cook bacon in the house. I have to grill it. I get home. My wife was home. She had made her grocery store run. There's like 6 pounds of bacon in our fridge. You got to be kidding me. And so the smartass that I am, I look at her and I said, it's a lot of bacon. She's like, yeah, I'm making bacon wrap dates for the office party. I'm like, that's really going to smell up the kitchen. And I say that jokingly. And she goes, oh my God, you're right. And she just gets this like aha moment. She's like, but I'm baking it. So maybe that'll, we'll see. We'll see. I'm really good at grocery shopping for shit we don't need. I'll get $100 in groceries, fill up a cart, get it all home. Okay, what do you want for dinner? And I'm looking, Doritos, pizza, breakfast burritos. I got some avocados and some lettuce. It's like, my God, I am terrible. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what to get for dinner. Like, what do you get for dinner that's not in the frozen food section? Like, I'm really good at that. I can get lunch. Lunch is good because lunch is like a sandwich or a frozen dinner. But dinner's a different story. Like, you put time in dinner, you got to have like a meat and a potato. And then it's like you get meat, you get fresh meat, fresh vegetables. And then like the next 3 nights, you're like, I don't feel like cooking. And then all of a sudden the hamburger or the meat's brown. You got to toss it. The vegetables. Bleh. Like, shit, I just wasted $22. Literally. So that's why I never get food. Food. And then it's like, well, I guess it's frozen pizza night. Oh, we're going to eat out at sushi. Terrible grocery shopping. I got some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I got some milk. I went 1% milk. So normally we're a skim milk house. And I don't, skim milk, it's like water. It's milk down water. Which I kind of agree with. But I've gotten used to it. My wife and I have been together for almost 10 years. And so I've just resigned myself to skim milk. Well, when she goes to the store to get milk, she gets like this little tiny, like, I don't even think it's like 16. It's like a 12-ounce can of milk. Like, what do you do with that? So when I go, I get half gallon. And the reason why she gets those small, tiny milks, because we have to throw it away with the meat and vegetables that we don't cook. You get a half gallon of milk. I eat one bowl of cereal. The milk expires and I have to throw it away. But I did buy a half gallon of 1%. I don't want to just jump to whole milk or 2%. But I've always been a 1% guy. Not always, but I've probably drank 1%. Like when I do milk, I bet I've done milk for 1% milk for 20 years. 20 years. I think it was when I went on my first, I did like this modified Atkins diet back when Atkins was like the huge fad. And this was 20 years ago. And I did this modified Atkins diet where I could eat carbs, but it's just like, don't eat a whole bunch of bread. Don't eat pasta every night. Don't eat pizza every night. I'd get, and even fast food joints back 20 years ago were jumping in on this fad. You could go to Hardee's and get like this giant, like fucking 3-pound burger with lettuce. This is goofy, man. But I did. I lost a ton of weight. And for the most part, I kept most of it off until I moved to Wisconsin and just didn't give a shit anymore. Ate what I wanted. At that point, I was working in radio. So that was my biggest, working in radio was my biggest weight loss inspiration. And it wasn't because I was in the public eye or anything. It was because I was poor and I couldn't buy clothes. So if I like gained some weight and I'm like, shit, this shirt doesn't fit anymore. It's like, well, I've got to work out to fit back into my shirt. Now it's like, now the older you get, it's like, I'll just buy a new shirt and I'll fit back into that. And that day's not going to come. That day's not going to come. John is correct. This comment right here nailed it. Just give it. Once you get married, just give up. Just do what you want. So that was my day. Grocery store run. See, that's the highlight of my day. Yesterday, my highlight was eating at Milio's inside the restaurant and then going to the grocery store. The day before, the highlight of my day, getting a haircut. That's the exciting life I live. Today, I don't have anything. I'm going to go to the post office like I do every other day. Although my wife has this potluck tonight, so dinner's on me. So it's going to be a 6-pack and a frozen pizza. And I see you give up 6-pack and a frozen pizza. Wife leaves. Oh, it's pizza night. So that's what's going on tonight. All right. I did add a whole bunch of stuff. You see my link scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I added a bunch of stuff yesterday to the eBay store, including Has Hell Hath Frozen Over. Look at this. A whole stack of soccer cards. Where's Low Roller Scratcher? Soccer. And I expect a big old fat purchase from Low Roller Scratcher in my eBay store. Soccer now available. Soccer's been available, but limited. But I added about 100 soccer cards last night. By the way, Cardi the Pro 2.0 does recognize soccer. So it did recognize there was one set that it's in the database, but I had to like type in to get it to match up. But I don't have to like type titles or anything. I love it. It's so fast. The Prism worked, but like maybe La Liga. I don't know. I don't know soccer. So John Keating knows soccer. So Manchester United. I know that. I think that's a popular league that they're in. Burnley. I've never heard of Burnley, so I'm assuming that's like the shitty league. Premier League? I don't know. What's Manchester United? Premier League. Crystal Palace. I don't know what that is. Aston Villa. Newcastle United. West Bromwich Albion. I've never heard of these teams. Cadiz. That's a town in Kentucky. Oh, no. Alvaro Negredo does not play in Kentucky. I can bet you that. Leander Dendoncker. That's a fun name. He plays for the Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's a fun name. That's just a fun. Leander Dendoncker of the Wolverhampton Wanderers. Harry Winks. What else does Harry do? Tottenham Hotspur. Leandro Trossard. Brighton and Hove Albion. I've never heard of these teams. No wonder they're not selling. Jordan Pickford. Everton. West Ham United. SSC Napoli. Oh, that must be Italian. Liga? Don't know. So those soccer cards in my eBay store, I should have put them at 99 cents because I didn't realize how shitty those were. So they're at $1.50. $1.50 free shipping. Buy 7 or more, 25% off. Maybe the next, I've got another stack here. I just randomly found these in a box that I pulled off a shelf the other day. So maybe I'll go 99 cents. Let's go to the chat. We've got Todd Richardson. Good morning to you. David is in the house. What's happening? Good morning, Michael. What's up? Victor's here. Good morning. Donald Davis is here. Peter says, I'm reporting you to your HR department. Royals 417. What's going on? John says, I wear a singlet when I work from home. Let the mail, trash, and Amazon people know I still have an edge. There you go. Philly Joe is here. Good morning. Mikey's in the house. I'm reporting live from the orthopedic shoulder surgeon's office. That sounds like a big bummer, man. Hopefully all goes well. Glove and Beyond. What's going on? Good morning. My routine is upside down because of holiday week, but it's great as I catch this show live instead of on replay. Awesome. Great to have you. Tony Murphy, good morning. Bill Hader does some great riffs about Dateline. Those are, I love those. His Keith Morrison is amazing. Mark Marinello, good morning. Love your wrestling card pickups. We're going to talk lots about lots. Probably not what you think today, unless you're in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Then there's a little teaser in there. Check out the Hobby Evolution Facebook page. Type it in the search bar in Facebook. Join the group. We have some fun in there. Mark Hoyle, good morning. Keith Morrison is Matthew Perry's stepdad. I do recall that's one of those tidbits that I think I've known like at various times in my life. I knew that piece of trivia, but every time it's brought up, I'm like, really? Oh yeah, I did know that. That's one of those tidbits that it's like, is that like the reverse Mandela effect? Speaking of there's a movie called The Mandela Effect. I was one of my pastimes is not actually watching TV. It's scrolling through the various streaming platforms to view what's available to watch. So that's where I spend most of my TV time, like scrolling. And it must be Amazon Prime. There's a couple movies on there. My wife's not into like suspense movies. It was also like, I don't know, 8:00. And, by 9:00, I'm starting to turn in. So, little late for movie time, but The Mandela Effect looks like an interesting movie. George is in the house. What's up? Good evening to you. Card Hobbyist says Dateline waits to the last minute to say who did it. I just looked up the case on Google and get my answer. It's too long-winded. But I'm kind of like, I'm sitting here at my desk all day, shipping and listing and shipping. So I need something in the background. And I felt at the time I was too invested in actually watching. So I had to watch. I didn't want to go to Google. I wanted to see how it played out on the television. Zach and Porter, good morning. Mikey says, do you and your wife have any romantic drive anymore? It doesn't sound like it from your stories of what you do at night. No, we're married. Of course we don't. That's what happens when you get married. Jordan Brown, good morning. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning to you. Neil, what's happening? Michael says, imagine going back and watching To Catch a Predator. Oh, yeah. Those are, and we shouldn't laugh at that, but it's kind of funny. Catching a lot of predators with that Epstein list, right? Mark Hoyle says, just had a great hospital breakfast. Really not bad. Mark, I hope you're on the mend. Hospital food gets a bad rap. It's actually thankfully, the limited times that I've had hospital food, it's actually been pretty good. It's like, hospital. It's not like slop that you saw in movies from the 70s. It's actually pretty good food. Now, it's more of the setting that I don't like. The food's actually good. The setting, not so much. John says they do introduce characters, but they string you along as to who is still alive. Suddenly, someone you thought was dead pops up on the screen, sometimes missing a limb or an eyeball. What are you doing in here? Jordan Brown says, none of you said fry sauce yesterday. I was so said fry sauce. What is fry? I got to Google that. It sounds tasty. Fry sauce. Fry sauce. The famous fry sauce is sweet, tangy sauce mixed together with a few simple ingredients already at your fingertips to make the ultimate dip. Jordan's just freaking blowing our minds here with the famous fry sauce. Just give me that recipe, people. All right, here it is. It's Shane's favorite, mayonnaise. That's the base. Mayo. All right, we're off to a good start. I love me some good mayo. Not that cheap stuff I saw at Pick and Save yesterday for $3.39 for a 30-ounce jar. That's probably shitty mayo. I like the good stuff. The stuff that Shane's buying for $8. So you got mayo, ketchup, because ketchup adds in the sweetness and brings out the red coloring in the sauce. Worcestershire, which is just the best food word to say, loads of flavor added into the sauce. A little Worcestershire. Pickle brine. The hell? It sounds weird, but it's the pickle juice, essentially. It's vinegar and water mixed together to give it a tangy taste. This is blowing my mind. Paprika, which adds some color and a little heat all at once. Cayenne, a little more heat, flavorful with some heat in this fry sauce. That's it. Mix all the ingredients in a bowl. Combine mayo, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, pickle brine, paprika, and a pinch of cayenne. Serve with your favorite fries or use on top of a burger. Fry sauce. I am blown. My mind is blown, Jordan. This is amazing. I'd never heard of this. And now I feel like I need to make some. Johnny Boy Cards is here. What's up? Good morning. John says, I have an interesting connection to the SeaTac a predator. Oh, catch a predator. An interesting connection to the catch a predator thingy. Oh, douche, don't leave us with that cliffhanger. Let's see. Brian says, protein, starch, vegetables, fruit. That's how you pick a dinner. Also, good day. Good day to you, sir. Protein's tough. Like, protein's easy, but tough at the same time. Because usually that's what you have to actually cook. Like vegetables and fruit, easy. Starch, pretty easy. Protein, kind of tough. If you're lazy like me, don't want to cook. Herman's in the house. What's going on? Good morning, Jody. What's happening? Red Light 34 says hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Hit that like button. We're going to talk about lots of lots today. Kyle, good morning. Mikey says you were in the 1% with that house friend. Mark says, Mark didn't say that. Mark says, I usually get home from work first, so I make dinner for the two of us. I love my girlfriend, but not a big fan of heavy, greasy Spanish food. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. John says, Bo advocates just giving up once you find a bride. Mark says, you picked up on that too. Isn't that how life goes? Like, yeah, just settle in. It's called nesting. Isn't that what that's called? Nesting. Heartland's in the house. Good morning. Zach says, Bo's monologue tells me he has not done the yoga video I sent him. You know, the Shakti mat is, my back's feeling pretty good now. Till the next time it hurts. The Shakti, I actually got my wife on the Shakti mat last night. No, none of that kinky shit. Can you imagine that on a Shakti mat? Oof. No, I think I talked her into it because Saturday I was in a ton of pain. My back from already being in pain last week, but then add moving tables and picking up boxes of cards, like heavy boxes of cards, not just a random small box, but standing around, walking around all day. So Saturday night, I lay on the Shakti mat. I didn't even feel like it actually felt the needles. They're not really needles, but like the sharp points actually felt better than like the pain. The pain of the needles were better than the pain that I was in my back. It actually felt good. So that's how I talked my wife into because she's been like, she watches me and she's like, oh, that sounds painful. That looks painful. Like I couldn't even touch those needles. But she spent like 10 minutes on it last night. So, and I don't think she was crying or screaming or anything. So that's good. But no, I have not done the yoga video. Corey Garcia, what's happening? Good morning. Mikey says, Bo married into money, so he definitely doesn't care now. John says, Premier League is England. La Liga is Spain. Aha. Premier League clubs. Serie A in Italy. Leicester City is my team. Did I pronounce that? Is it Leicester or Leicester? Bundesliga. This is just fun to say. John says some of those teams are in the championship, which is England's second division. That's probably why I haven't heard of them. Jordan Brown says, Bo naming teams that I've never heard of. What's up, Raphael? Good morning to you. John says Pickford is the douchiest player in the world. Jordan Pickford, was that his name? Johnny M, what's happening? Good morning. Ligue 1 is the French league. Card Hobbyist says Bo should watch Green Street Hooligans. That would be up his alley. Brian agrees with John. Pickford is a douche. John says, Jesus, now I'm hopped up on footy talk. James says, list the soccer in lots. Move them fast. It takes me longer to list in lots, so I don't want to do that. I can just list them as singles. If I do 99 cents, I'll blow them out really fast. I actually did back when I was doing originally 99-cent cards, and I have started doing 99-cent cards again. But when I was doing 99-cent cards a couple of years ago, I had a bunch of like Prism soccer, and this was when Prism everything was like super hot. And I just like, it's soccer, 99 cents. And man, I blew through those. Now, I know the market's changed a ton since then. But maybe this next batch, maybe right after this show, I'll just throw some other. I mean, I'm sure these are all common. I don't know soccer, but I assume there's no players that I've heard of. Like these are cards that I haven't listed. Lorenzo Pellegrini, Brendan Aronson, Dayot Upamecano, Odysseus. Wow, you don't see that name very often. Odysseus Vlachodimos, Sandro Tonali, Ferran Torres, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Harvey Barnes, Harry Kane. I've heard of Harry Kane. I don't know, is he any good? But I've heard of Harry Kane. Weston McKennie, Paulo Oliveira, Diego Fagundes, Lloyd Sam, Nick Raimondo, Rodriguez, Brian Carroll, Peralta, Pau Torres, Lago Aspas. Can't read that name. Bartosz Berezinski. So a bunch of names I'd never heard of. There's some color in here. There's purple Nico Williams, purple Keita Balde. So I'll just throw those up for 99 cents. Royals 417 says, I don't know what's worse, talking about football. We're talking about, quote, football. Football or football? Glove and Beyond says, with all the food talk about Jimmy John's, bacon, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I'm surprised Uncle Rich isn't here. I'll do the honors. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Where is Uncle Rich? He hasn't been live. I do know every once in a while, he'll pop in on a chat and make a comment later in the day. Brian, good morning. John says, Bo has hospital pizza every time he goes to Casey's. Mikey's having shoulder surgery here soon. That's a bummer. Michael says, Freddy's fry sauce, best condiment ever, which was not brought up. 2 people mentioned fry sauce today. Fry sauce, add it to your list. I've got the famous fry sauce recipe on my screen right now. Maybe I'll make some of this. Sweet, tangy sauce mixed together with a few simple ingredients already at your fingertips. John says, Mikey, do your PT. I had a shoulder rebuilt and my PT after surgery made a world of difference. Brian says, I'm running low on beer and I'll have to buy some for the first time in 3 years. Holy shit. Free beer was a huge perk working for a brewery. That's amazing. Zach says, the food you get at a hospital is sourced by the same broadliner food source all your favorite restaurants use, either Sysco or U.S. Foods. Same food you eat elsewhere. Hall of Fame card collector says, okay, I will do my PT. I have been, but it's not been helping, so surgery is the next option for my torn labrum. Michael says, nothing beats drinking your orange juice out of a plastic cup. Artisan sauce makers might be douchier than craft brewers and Jordan Pickford. I pick up dinner by talking to a backlit menu and then driving up to the next window to pay. Paul Carl's in the house. He saw lots. He's like, oh, I'm in. But not how you think you're in. Little different. See, I knew it. I'm like, oh, I'll get at least one viewer if I title it Lots and Lots of Lots. But it's not what you think it is. Well, it might be. Happy Thursday, Shane. What's going on? Jordan says, ketchup and mayo is enough. You can also buy it already made. Randy Newman is a popular one-add barbecue sauce if you like barbecue sauce. You know what's really good? Condiment discussion part 2. It's Paul Newman's, it's like pineapple salsa. You can get it at Trader Joe's. It's or peach. I think it's peach salsa. It's a fruit salsa. And take an avocado, take a jar of the sauce and 1 or 2 avocados and mix that all together. Oh my God, it's phenomenal. Actually, my friend Quincy, his wife turned me on to it. They had a NCAA March Madness party. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like scarfing this down. And I'm like, what is this? Salsa or hybrid thing? It's like, it's easy. All it is an avocado, and a jar of Paul Newman's peach salsa. Amazing. Minneapolis Kid says, hey, probably too late, but I saw your video yesterday and you were never too late. And you were talking about having problems with your printer, with the post office saying it was too small. There is a different format for 2x7 labels. If your label looks the same as a 4x6, just smaller, that's not the right format. Maybe that's what was going on. I've been printing my 4x6s now, so it is too late in terms of my experience, because it was like 2 years ago. So I'm already using the 4x6s, have been for a couple years. But hey, maybe somebody else, if they use the 2x7, get it formatted correctly. Card Hobbyist says, I am impressed with the new version of CDP. Absolutely. A bit buggy, but fast. There's been a couple like small glitches, but yesterday when I was running a bunch of batches, there were a couple times where I had to like refresh or like log out and log back in, but I mean, maybe like twice, and it didn't really detract. And I mean, what normally would take me, like, say what I did yesterday, did a lot of shipping, went to the grocery store, went out to eat for lunch, got distracted by Dateline. Normally in the day that I had yesterday, I probably, and with what I listed, I probably would have listed 150 to 200 cards, and I listed almost 500. And it was almost like, it used to be like 200 cards with ease, and now it's 500 with ease. So, I've listed, now if I listed a bunch of, ideally, we're going to talk about lots today. What I'm really looking for are lots of 70s cards, but I need to get them at the right price. I don't want to be paying 25 cents a card based on my price point, like my reselling price point to get them moved. That's basically what I'm netting, 40 cents, 30 cents. But, I could hammer those out in like a morning. I could probably list 5,000 cards in a couple hours if they're based from the 70s or 80s or 90s. But again, some of that stuff isn't going to move. Why do I list, when I list the 82 and 83 Fleer cards, which I did make a couple sales of like 8 or 9 cards from those crappy sets, 99 cents each. That's why I do it. Like, yeah, they're 99 cents. You don't make it. You lose money if you sell one, but you sell 8 or 9. It's like, you just made $5 on a few commons. That's the goal. And it takes no time. I also take into account my time involved. Well, how fast am I going to list these using Card Dealer Pro? If it's some of these soccer cards, part of the reason I listed these at $1.50 was I had to do some like searching the database, which is super fast now. I don't have to actually type it in. That's why I've never listed soccer and hockey. It wasn't recognized in Card Dealer Pro. And it's like, I'm not going to type in all this crap when I have other inventory that I can list where it's going to be mostly recognized, and I can do a lot more in a fast amount of time. Now it's, mostly all fast. So, all right. What else is going on in the chat? Lesta. There was a pitcher with the same spelling. And that's why it's like, I always pronounced it Leicester. And then I heard it's like John Lester, not the John Lester. There's 2 John Lesters that pitched. I think they both pitched at times for the Red Sox and Cubs. The Lester, I always called him Leicester. It's like, no, John Lester. Like, wait, John Lester? Oh, the other John Lester. Royals417 says, you are all welcome to come have lunch at our school. Be sure to come on Wednesday. The meatloaf is amazing. We don't serve your typical school lunch. I haven't been to a school lunch in 25 years. It wasn't bad. Our school lunch in the 90s wasn't bad. But it's like, all right, pizza day was the best. But I'm talking cafeteria pizza. Now, we ended up in my high school. I've got a text chat with like 4 or 5 of my high school friends. And so one of them still in the area with kids in the school district. And so we were like joking about something, I don't know. And they have Pizza Hut pizza on Fridays or every other Friday. And I'm like, damn, we didn't get, and one of my friends were like, yeah, we did. Like starting in high school, we started getting Pizza Hut pizza. But then like, because it's full of our town's full of Catholics, we couldn't eat meat on Fridays. Fucking Catholics ruining my meat Fridays. I want some sausage pizza. I don't want that cheese. Don't give me no fish. Some meat. So I guess we did have Pizza Hut pizza on Fridays. Where was I going with that? Oh, but the other pizza, the cafeteria pizza, pre-Pizza Hut pizza on Fridays at my school. It's like, that was like the best school lunch ever. And if you had a pizza, one of those pizzas, and you had it at home, like it's pizza night and that's the pizza you have, it's like, this is the worst pizza ever. The best school lunch was like your worst nightmare at home for dinner, pizza. So, but Matt Royals 417 must have some good, maybe it's changed, maybe like hospital food. I bet hospital food in the 90s was different. Or maybe again, it could be like the setting, like we just didn't like school lunch because it was at school. Kind of like we don't like hospital food because it's in a hospital. Dan says, good morning. Finally back in New York and looking forward to a happy 2024. Happy New Year. Neil says, are you bulk listing the Prism Soccer in 8170? Yes. Yes, I am. I will say for those that if you do have an 8170 and you have like some issues with it scanning like Prism and Chrome cards, I will say the 8170 is way better than the 7030 with Prism. Now, I had decent luck with the 7030 on Topps Chrome cards, but Panini, like even like the not shiny Panini were difficult. Like Panini Chronicles sometimes would not scan well in the 7030, whatever paper that they use at Panini. But I don't have that issue with the 8170. The only thing, and I have this with Bowman Chrome, Topps Chrome also, is sometimes it'll bring up the pop-up, so it's not as fast. So you just have to, so I just have my mouse ready, and as it scans, click, continue, and it keeps scanning. It's not going to scan it like it's going to scan these 72 Topps. It's going to fire those through. Prism's a little slower. John says, Harry Kane is now in Germany, the equivalent of the witness protection program. Harry Kane is forgotten at Tottenham, thanks to the likes of James Madison. Oh, former president James Madison, now playing soccer in Germany. Neil says Chick-fil-A dipping sauce is good, and now they have bottled that and sell that in grocery stores. No one goes to Trader Joe's anymore. It's too crowded, right? Look up Mrs. Renfro's salsa, peach. Chick-fil-A sauce is mayo, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, and a touch of lemon. Michael loves the Yogi Berra reference. Shane says, sounds like everyone goes there if they're always crowded. 4x6 works better as they help seal the envelopes. And that's another advantage to the 4x6. You can really get those envelopes, especially if you're using the small envelopes. It takes up like the entire envelope. Green chili enchiladas this weekend, my second favorite. That sounds good. Donald Davis says, Paul had the video on how to ship a 100 card lot. That was a great video. He used a 4x4x4 box to ship. We're not talking about selling lots today. We're talking lots and lots of lots, but not on the selling side. The deals you get on the buying side. John says, and I use 6-inch envelopes, so 2x7 would not work. Let's see. Brian says to Mikey, good luck with rehab. My dad recently had shoulder reconstruction. He says he should have had it done years ago. PT is a long road, but doing the exercises, so you only have to do it once. Dan says, if Card Dealer Pro is recognizing soccer cards, do you know if it recognizes women's soccer cards? I assume yes, but I don't know. I don't know if I have any women's soccer cards, but it recognizes soccer cards. Paul says, can't believe you guys are still peeling and sticking labels. And I'm still printing them one at a time. Brian says, I have a lot of 70s football if you want to buy them. How much are you talking? How many cards and what's your price? Michael says, I listed about 100 soccer cards on Card Dealer Pro, and most of them popped via AI, which was nice. Yeah. The problem I had with mine were one of the prism, because I think I have two prisms mixed in here. You guys, whoever knows soccer probably knows by the names I was spewing off. I think it might have been La Liga or Serie A. I don't know. But there was one that I had to like go search. But as soon as I typed in like Anthony Marshall Prism, it would pop right up. And I just click, and then it filled all the information. I didn't have to do anything except for type in his name. But then the others, like probably the Harry Kane League, because I've heard of him, and one of the other guys, Champions League or whatever. John says, I'd rather blow meatloaf than eat meatloaf. Ma, the meatloaf. Can't believe people are wasting ink and time by printing on envelopes. I agree. I'm team that 70s card show there. Porter, what's up? Good morning. Card Hobbyist says, best school lunch was chicken nuggets and mashed taters and gravy. See, mine was, along with the pizza, was open-faced turkey. Open-faced, because it was warm, open-faced turkey, and with gravy and mashed taters. That was a good one. That was always the grandparents' day special. And I remember I was in 4th or 5th grade. I've talked about this before. My grandma Hazel, rest in peace. Grandma Hazel came in for Grandparents' Day, and I don't know what it was. It might have been her like bread and butter, like sandwich or peanut butter sandwich, because it was like open-faced turkey, and then you got a choice of like peanut butter sandwich or bread and butter. And I remember my grandma didn't eat like half of her meal, and she starts now today, like as a freaking 3rd grader, I'm like, what's my grandma doing? Oh my God, you're taking school lunch home. But now today it's like, well, fuck yeah, I'm taking this home. Are you kidding me? Me? I don't want to cook. But I remember my grandma, and it's like, you're telling your friends, my grandma took her food home. And it's like, well, fuck yeah, she did. You get older, you realize, like, you little smart ass kid, you little punk. Of course I'm taking that food home. You dumbass. Paul says it's cheaper and faster for singles, but now that I'm all in on lots, I'm back to peel and stick. At least till I find a printer that prints on boxes. Yeah. Shane says best school lunch was when they catered in Chick-fil-A sandwiches every Friday. What the hell kind of voodoo school did you go to? My goodness. Shane's going to the rich school. Chick-fil-A, catered in Chick-fil-A. You went to a Catholic school, didn't you? Those Catholics have all the money. Shane and his private Catholic school with the catered in Chick-fil-A. Us poor public school kids were dreaming about. We had to eat that shitty pizza. Tony, what's going on? It's all about the school shepherd's pie. I don't think we ever had shepherd's pie. Maybe that's like a regional thing. Is shepherd's pie? Where'd you go to school? I'm curious. I don't remember ever having shepherd's pie. Tottenham is not pronounced Tottenham. It's pronounced Tottenham. See, I'm not very worldly. I'm not very, I didn't go to Shane's school where they catered in Chick-fil-A. I got me a public school education. John says, I like sealing envelopes with labels. I also like never running out of ink. And not only that, but printers fucking suck. Printers fucking suck. Printers. F-bombs. I hate printers, man. Printers suck. Maybe I'm just buying cheap printers. They always like spooling. The fuck is spooling? Got something in my eye. Spooling. They always, and then it's like it's at urgency level or whatever. It's like at 1. It's like, no, I clicked print because I want you to print. It's urgent. Print right now, damn it. John says, cost me 3 cents for both. Printing onto an envelope takes longer, costs the same, and doesn't add another seal. Kind of what I'm thinking. That's what because you still have to seal the envelope. The time it saves you to print the envelope directly onto the envelope, print the label directly on the envelope, you still have to seal the envelope. Somehow, either you're peeling it, or you're licking it, or you're dabbing it. I agree. Matt says, I send out more trades on TCDB than selling on eBay. I'm still old school with a good pen and legible penmanship. Orlando says, was thinking about what video to do today. Now going to show my Mayo cards. Mayo cut plug. Ooh. Do you have a Cap Anson? The Mayo cut plug Cap Anson is one of the few on my list. It's probably, if I had to rank my Cap Anson want list, 1 would be Ginter, 2 would be Goodwin, 3 would be Old Judge, 4 would be Mayo. Goodwin would probably be number 1, but it's pretty expensive. I mean, they're all pretty expensive, but that one's a little more. Paul says, 70s, where are you buying thermal labels at 3 cents each? Amazon. Amazon.com. Card Hobbyist says, peel and stick labels or peel and stick lick envelopes. Choose your poison. Right. Kyle says, most of my collection has been built by buying lots and lots of lots. There you go. That's what we're talking about today. Have found tremendous value by buying lots that don't utilize good titles and go for one bid at auction. Amen. And that's what we're talking about today. Lots and lots of lots. Now, I'm big on selling lots at Buy It Now, like small player lots. You know, I've got a few. My experiment with Card Dealer Pro, I'm running into it. I don't know if Paul Carl's still here, but the one thing I'm running into, let's see, Bowman. Did I have maybe I deleted it. But anyway, one of my my concerns going in was, since it's a lot, I'm like, I'm just going to sneak by and see if it'll go in the singles category, which is going to screw up search. So it wasn't ideal, but I just ran a test batch of like 3 or 4. Didn't work because eBay saw the word lot in the title. It's like, oh, no, you can't do that. So then I changed it. I found the category ID for lots, which is just 1-digit difference. The last 3 on trading card singles is like 328, 329 for trading card lots. So then I had another problem. It was like the condition. And I'm like, oh yeah, because it's not the same as a single. So instead of like near mint, excellent, very good, poor, fair, whatever it is, it's used or new. So I'm like, oh, so I found the category. So I typed in used. That wasn't accurate. So I found the ID, which I think it's 4,000. Wait, no, I don't think that's right. I think I've got to find the ID for new and used. I think I just realized. All right, so I'll go back and try that again. Johnny M says, my daughter is sitting here having breakfast. Wants to know why the Card YouTube channel is talking more about food than cards. Wait another 20 minutes, I told her. That's right. That's right. We talk about food. Food's better. On the hierarchy, food is better than cards. Where are we at? Shane says Caitlin Clark is a freak and don't understand how she makes the shots she does. But I was watching a replay of shot and paused it with 0 seconds and she wasn't even starting the shot. Was that on the buzzer beater from the other day, from Sunday or whatever day it was? Shane says, I don't know how it wasn't overturned. John says, I use peel and stick envelopes and peel and stick labels from Amazon. Same here. I buy on Amazon. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Johnny M says he buys 6,000 labels for $30 delivered on eBay. Also, if you have Amazon Prime, you might be able to do this without Amazon Prime, but if you do have Amazon Prime, you can sub into like a subscription. You can save like 5%. And I was doing this with my labels, and then they started coming in fat. I screwed up and I had two. Well, the labels I was ordering kept going out of stock, so I would just open a new subscribe and save 5%. Okay, so then all of a sudden, the ones that were out of stock became in stock, and they would send them. And all of a sudden, I have like more labels than I am going to use. I still have like a case of thermal labels. So I went into my profile. I had like 4 subscriptions for thermal labels because they had all at one time gone out of stock. So if you're Amazon Prime, some of the stuff you can reorder at a discount with a save 5% on the subscription. John says Shane was obviously homeschooled. Yeah, I think so. Michael says shepherd's pie is a Northeast thing. Aha, that's why we didn't have shepherd's pie at my school. Brian says, I agree. I broke my 3D printer quickly into printers suck. Shane says Catholic school. My sister and I bitched so much Sunday morning because we didn't want to go to church. Haven't gone since. Definitely not Catholic and not private, just a public school. Okay. Flawed Thinker says best school lunch was none of them. But in elementary school on every other Friday, they would always have hot and fresh Krispy Kreme donuts for $1. I'll take that for $1. Now I'm kind of hungry for we don't have Krispy Kreme around here, but we have the Quick Trip, the Glazers, man, those are good. Brian didn't have as many cards as I thought. 65 cards from 73 to 75, 79. No big names, no price because you'll pass. Yeah, 65. I need a bigger lot. And I do like 73. Like for football, it'd be like 73 to 76. 77 through 79, I would probably not be interested in. Paul says, oh, yeah, I forgot they're like 2 cents a label on Amazon. Still $70 for 4,000 envelopes versus $13 for 10,000 envelopes. Shane says, we still paid for the Chick-fil-A, but we could use our school lunch money. Aha. FBI studies handwriting from people like Matt. Paul says, I was thinking they were 7 cents a label, but my memory was wrong. Need more coffee. Yeah, there's no way in hell I'd be paying 7 cents a label. It wasn't the basic classic chicken sandwich or spicy classic. Chicken and pickles is all it was, not the special sandwiches. Well, that's all. Isn't that all like a when I go to Chick-fil-A, I just get the chicken with a pickle. Chicken sandwich with a pickle. That's all I get. That's all you need from Chick-fil-A, man. That's all you need. That pickle, it's just enough. And I guess is there mayo? Shane would know if there's mayo on a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Royals 417 says, don't ever let the FBI know where I live. I'm one step ahead of them. Matt, they've already confiscated my hard drive. Get your affairs in order. So lots and lots of lots. Not what you think it is. We're not selling lots. That's not the topic today. It's not selling lots and lots of lots. We are buying lots and lots of lots. Flipping Sports Guy wants to talk pickle talk. The pickle ruins the sandwich and bun. Disagree. No, sir, you are incorrect. The pickle makes the sandwich. Lots and lots of lots. So here recently, I've been on a eBay binge. It started with the wrestling cards. I don't have them near me, but might have been New Year's Day. Is it New Year's Day or pickle? I got pickles on my mind. New Year's Day or pickle day? It must have been pickle day or Christmas Day. The Christmas pickle. We do have a Christmas pickle ornament. Anyway, might have been Christmas Day. I was shopping. I was looking for lots, and there was on auction, by the way, because auctions suck for you sellers, but they are magnificent for buyers. So I found, was it like 180, 1990, and some 1989 classic WWF, and I paid, I think I ended up paying 12 cents a card, whatever that turns out to be. 12 cents a card. The reason being, my base price on these is $250. Now there were some 1989s in there which carry a premium. I sold the Rockers card, the 1989 Rockers card, for $7. I paid, I think, 20. Does the math work on that? $20. I think I paid $20 for the entire lot. I sold one card for $7. And I've only listed half or a third of the cards in the lot. So I'll probably list another batch today. And I like wrestling. And this is the fun part of selling stuff you like, but you don't collect. And I think this is also, if you have this trait, you can be successful in selling. If you don't have the trait of liking something, not being able to differentiate between liking and keeping, like, I really love cards. I collect them, yes, but then I'm happy to see them go and make money from them. Except if they're Cubs cards, then I just hoard them. But like wrestling cards is something, like, I love wrestling cards because I enjoy wrestling. And but I don't collect them. Like, I don't want to keep them. Like, I don't want to put them in binders and look at them. I just want to look at them once, put them on eBay and sell them. And then I get to look at them again when I ship them out. So it's fun for me to buy these lots for cheap, resell, make some money. So last night did it again. And I just happened to, I don't know if I typed in like a wrestling card search or if I just found it searching for lots. And I posted this in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. So if you're not in, check it out. Go to Hobby Evolution on Facebook and we'll get you in. But I found a lot of WWF magazine cards, which I really love. I really love the WWF magazine cards because I had a subscription to WWF magazine when they started putting these cards in, and they're like the perforated cards, just like for people that aren't familiar, just like if you remember Baseball Card Magazine, where they had the cards in the magazine, just like that, but WWF and wrestlers. They came out in like 1995. With subscription. I don't think the newsstand copies of WWF magazine had them. I think some may have, but they wrapped it in plastic so you couldn't just pull the cards out. But I found a lot last night of WWF magazine cards. I actually bought like 15 of these a dozen of these magazines at a garage sale. A guy in Milwaukee had posted in one of the card groups maybe about a garage sale. And he had a bunch of wrestling. I'm like, oh, I can get a bunch of wrestling stuff. Now, the funny thing is he was like, on his wrestling cards, he was way overpriced. And I'm like, how much would you want for everything? And I looked at like the prices he had on like the sets, and it's like, whoa, like this is like above comps on eBay. And this is at a garage sale. So I'm like, but I asked, like, what would you want for all of the sets of wrestling cards? And he gave me this crazy number, and I'm like, And then we got to talk, and I'm like, at that point, I had like all those Marvel cards from the 90s. I'm like, I've got all these Marvel cards. And so when I got home, I sent him some pictures, and he's like, I would put 75, like, so he still offered me the price, say it was like $500. And he's like, and then all those Marvel cards take 75 off. So I do it all for like $425. And I'm like, fuck that. I ended up putting that lot on eBay, and it sold for like $300, the Marvel cards. So, but I did at this garage sale, I did buy like a dozen or 15 WWF magazines, and I checked each one. They all had the cards in them, and they were like marked for $5, and he ended up giving them to me for like $3 a magazine. So I pulled all the cards out, and some of the cards sold for like $15-20, like the Isaac Yankem, which is Kane, one of his original gimmicks. I think Diesel sold for like $20. The Triple H was that magazine was not in there. A lot of them sold for like $10. Some of the early cards sell for $10. And then some of the later ones sell for like $3. And then I sold the magazines for like $10 a piece. Now you have to ship those first class, $4 shipping. So the net is just a few bucks, but it was gravy. So I found this lot of WWF magazine trading cards, $39.99 opening bid. I'm like, $48. I'm like, I don't know. And I start looking, and I haven't sold a lot of these, sold 2 years ago. So I don't know the current comps on some of these. So I start looking last night. I had like 20 minutes before the auction ended. And I start looking, there's 174. And I'm like, oh shit, some of these still sell for $10. And a lot of the early cards, like some of the first ones from 1995. Let's see, I don't think that. Doink the Clown, Rad Radford. The Isaac Yankem is in here. Fought in early Fatu. Those were Waylon Mercy. That one just sold for $10. So there's a lot of good stuff. I don't think the Triple H is in there, but I got it at the opening bid, 40. I think I paid after tax and shipping, it was $50, like right on the dot, which comes out to be, what is that? Some of these are probably going to be like $2 cards, but a lot of them are $10. And a couple of them might be a little more. So 50 divided by what? 174, 28 cents, 29 cents a card. So even at the base price on some of these, it'll move. Yeah, some are going to sit for a long time, but I should get that 50. If I list them all quickly, I should get that $50. I should get back to break even in no time. So that's what I've been looking for. It's a little tougher to find if you're into, I think it's easier to find stuff like wrestling, non-sports, other sports. I think it's easier to find those good deals. When you're looking at baseball lots, it's going to be a little more difficult. The price is going to be a little higher. There was a wrestling autograph lot, but it was like, there was a lot of like relics in there, and it's like, it was already at like $2 per. I'm like, and I don't know that market, so I stayed away from that. I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking for vintage, like 70s lots. If I can get them for 10, 15 cents per card, it's a no-brainer. It's just hard to find those. You can usually, and you say, oh, that's, of course you'll buy those for that. But I've bought a ton of 72, 73, 74, 75 at like a dime a piece in bulk. Now they don't come up too often, but could really make your money back quick. Where we at? John says, Shane buying Chick-fil-A sandwiches to scrape and harvest the mayo, right? Chick-fil-A has nothing on Popeyes. Now, this is I'm glad Max isn't here to read this comment. I agree Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is really good. No, I'm not dissing Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. I like Popeyes better. The Popeyes chicken sandwich is like blows Chick-fil-A out of the water though. Okay, so now I am dissing Chick-fil-A. But I do like Chick-fil-A. It's kind of like they're not even comparable. The Popeyes chicken sandwich and the Chick-fil-A, they're like two different foods. I don't think it's fair to compare. I do like Chick-fil-A though. Shane says, spicy Chick-fil-A with pepper jack cheese, lettuce, and tomato is the sandwich I get. No pickle. And I haven't had it in years. I can't remember if there's mayo or not. Chick-fil-A is too far now. Flawed Thinker says, the other day I put up a Drew Thorpe first lot for auction because I was getting a lot of watchers and viewers with it at fixed price. It wouldn't surprise me if it sells more or less than the original price. And it's, Drew Thorpe is one of those prospects that's on the rise. So sometimes running auctions on that type of a WWF lot from 1990 or 1995, not really top of mind. Drew Thorpe, people are looking for Drew Thorpe right now. And I think he was just traded, right? Was he in the Juan Soto trade to San Diego? He was already like a rising star as a prospect and getting a lot of love. And now he's, he was back in the public eye for that trade. Now he's in San Diego. So that's something where an auction might pay off. John says, your behavior is odd, Bo. Most collectors are too attached to the cards to get rid of them. I know. I am different. I am weird. I am odd. I know. I had Chick-fil-A once, and it was the best experience I've ever had eating out. Those guys know customer service. Good was good too. Chick-fil-A, I'm a big fan. I don't like the fact that they have their employees like out. I get it because it's so busy, but like I'm in Wisconsin, it's like 20 degrees, and they've got these poor employees out taking hand orders out in the parking lot. I think Portillo's does that too. Flipping Sports, I agree about the pickle. One, it overpowers the chicken. See, I don't agree with that. I think it's just right. I think Chick-fil-A, the pickle on the Chick-fil-A sandwich is just right where it doesn't overpower. Maybe that's just me. I love pickles though. And I don't know, Shane, if you don't like pickles, if you are not a pickle person, I can understand why you don't want a pickle on a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I love pickles. And I think it's just the perfect marriage between chicken and pickle. And if you eat it fast enough, it doesn't make the bun soggy. So those I just can't agree with that. I just can't agree with the sogginess. John says media mail shipping is cheaper. It is cheaper, but it's not legal. You are not supposed to ship magazines, media mail. Media mail is only for like textbooks and books without advertising. So like basically any book that you know, 11/22/63, Stephen King. Media mail is not. Now, can you get away with it? Absolutely. But it's not part of the media mail. Whatever. And it's super slow shipping those. And really, I don't think, like if you ship the magazine, now I'm curious. If you ship the so actually I know this because sometimes it defaults to me. So say you have a 4 ounce, say it's 4 ounces. Maybe it's like, say 6 ounces for a magazine. Let's go to eBay. So say I sell a magazine on eBay and I'm going to break the law and I'm going to ship it media mail. All right, I'm going to go. Say it's 6 ounces and say I'm shipping it to, okay, this person I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. This person's in Cincinnati, Ohio. So at 6 ounces, media mail is $3.92. Ground Advantage, which is first class, is $4.15. So you're only saving 23 cents by shipping media mail. And media mail, not only is it subject to inspection, it also takes longer. I mean, it can take up to 2. I mean, we know first class can take up to 2 weeks, but media mail is like the redheaded stepchild of the mail. They're like, we don't have room for that. So it just sits in a corner for a while. So for 23 cents, I wouldn't risk it. Neil says, picked up a lot last year, had a ton of 1985 WWF cards and stickers. Love it. Love it. Love those 85s. The Drew Thorpe lot consists of sapphires, chromes, and Asia Mojos, which only come out of specific Asian draft boxes. Ah, yes. Shane says, pickles are okay. I rarely use them. Every once in a while, I'll throw some spicy pickles on a burger. That's a spicy pickle. That's a spicy pickle. Sometimes I dabble with spicy pickles. Every once in a while, I like a good spicy vegetable. Like spicy green beans are fun. And I dabble because I make, I'm looking forward because I actually have like professionally built garden boxes this year here at the new house. And I'm looking forward to, I wanted to plant some fall vegetables, but I just got lazy. And I don't like, it's just, I'm not familiar with fall vegetables. So, but I'm looking forward to, I've got to wait like 6 months before I can plant anything. But I'm looking forward to May when I can finally plant something, make some pickles. I plant cucumbers, my own dill, jalapenos, and I use all that in my own pickles. Porter says the red bag chicken at Aldi's is a Chick-fil-A dupe. Pretty tasty, although you'll have to source your own mayo. I've heard that. I don't know if you mentioned that or somebody else did, but I have heard that. John says media mail is a silly thing to call it then. It is, yeah. It's very silly. Yeah, if you read the like rules on media mail rules, USPS. It's like, I mean, so media mail is shipping in a cost-effective way to send educational materials. And it's really like 6 ounces. It's 23-cent difference from first class. This service has restrictions on the type of media that can be shipped. Well, let's just flash this on the screen for you. Media mail service. There you go. Make it a little bigger. All right. So it's limited to the items listed below: books of at least 8 pages, sound recordings and video recordings such as CDs and DVDs, play scripts and manuscripts for books, periodicals, and music, printed music, computer readable media containing pre-recorded information and guides or scripts prepared solely for the use with such media, 16 millimeter or narrower with films. How many of those do you think get shipped on a daily? Probably not too many. So at the very bottom, it's like, oh, well, we can just get around that. Oh, not so fast. Media mail packages may not contain advertising. Comic books do not meet this standard. Books may contain incidental announcements of other books, and sound recordings may contain incidental announcements of other sound recordings. In accordance with standards in the Mailing Standards of the United States Postal Service Domestic Mail Manual, Section 170, media mail packages must have a delivery address and the sender's return address and are subject to inspection by the Postal Service. Upon such inspection, matter not eligible for the media mail rate may be assessed at the proper price and sent to the recipient postage due, or the sender may be contacted for additional postage. At least you won't get sent to jail. Can you, what are you in for? I was sending media mail. I sent some magazines, media mail. I had somebody, when I was doing a lot of trading, this is like 5 years ago, I had somebody send actually my worst media mail story, but I had somebody send me like a bunch of Cubs cards in media mail. I'm like, don't do that. Like, I know it's a trade, but my worst experience with media mail was this was during the pandemic. Mega boxes were like all the rage, right? And I had bought like 40 loose boxes of mega boxes from a seller on Facebook, in a Facebook group. And I spent like $2,000. They're not coming. He gives me tracking, and it just stopped in like Kentucky. And it was in Kentucky for 2 weeks. And I'm a patient man. And so he kept in communication. I paid goods and services. So I'm like, dude, and then he tells me he sent it media. I'm like, you sent a $2,000 box of baseball cards media mail? What are you doing? Like, not only is that like breaking the media mail, and like I could get a bill for whatever the first class postage was, when postage due. And since this, I guess I could have filed like a chargeback or until he gave me my postage, if that was, the case. But not only that, but media mail's that's what I mean. It sits in a corner for 2 weeks, and they beat the hell. Have you seen a media mail pack? They just beat the shit out of those packages. You're sending sealed wax, $2,000 worth of sealed wax media mail. You are an idiot. I'm sorry. You are an idiot. So he's like, well, I don't want a refund because I don't have now I'm out the product and the money. It's like, no shit. You're a dumbass. I'm sorry. But so he ends up reluctantly giving me a refund. Like a week later, it does show up on my doorstep. And I'm like, hey, just to let you know, here it is. I'm going to send it back. And I don't know if I think the post office actually let me return to sender postage due. Because I don't think I don't think he had to pay me shipping. I think I just took the box to the post office and I'm like, I'm rejecting this box. Can you send it postage due or whatever? And I think they were like, yeah, we can do that. But I'm like, what is going on? Where are we at? Let's see. Card Hobbyist says, should have titled this one Pickle Dabblin' and watch those views right. Pickle Dabblin'. I like it. Flawed Thinker used to sell comic books on eBay and would use Media Mail. Was I wrong because there were ads in them? And you are correct. Media Mail shipping was so slow. I think there's like it's like in the Media Mail, like it says comic books do not meet this standard. So it said, this is on the USPS website, Media Mail packages may not contain advertising. Comic books do not meet this standard. So I don't know if comic books, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to interpret that. Does that mean comic books are not eligible for Media Mail or they are eligible? I don't understand what that is. But the post office that I frequent in Middleton, they are like, I think some of the employees that were there that were like staunch, like, because I actually sent books and like they would quiz you. Like it was like 20 questions. Like, what's in this box? Books. What kind of books? Trying to trip you up. It's like, Jesus, are you the FBI? Like interrogating me on my goddamn books I'm trying to mail to save $3. Neil says, real good chicken Costco. Very good. Buy 3 3-pound bags and cook in the air fryer. John says, print up a manuscript on thermal label and Bob's your uncle. Jane says, well, time to get ready for work. Have a great day. You as well. Media, the main means of mass communication, broadcasting, publishing, and the internet regarded collectively. Collector's Dream says, I sent magazines and stuff. Media Mail, postal workers don't care or check. Much cheaper to mail. I agree. While it is subject to inspection, most of the times it gets through. I've had many people send me stuff, Media Mail, and it gets to me fine. It is slower, but usually it's stuff that was gifted to me or traded to me. So Big Harv says, good morning. Must have started late. I did start a little late this morning, like 15 minutes late this morning. Tony Murphy, what's up? He says, tell us how you really feel. Is he an idiot? Value Box Digger is here. As a former USPS worker, I would not recommend assuming all PO workers don't check Media Mail. If you get pinned, you'll forever be marked by the post office. Oh, it goes in your permanent file to check every movement from your address. That's interesting. You're on like the no-fly list, the USPS no-fly list. Another thing to note on Media Mail is it is the only mail that can legally be opened by any USPS worker. I honestly don't think it's smart to agree to any mail being able to be opened. It's a good point too. The post office here at the Pentagon could care less as long as there's nothing hazardous, liquid, whatever the spiel is they say every time. Oh yeah, yeah. Flammable. I used to know that by heart because back in the day when I actually went into the post office to mail my stuff, I heard that spiel often. I also knew exactly how. So when it came time for me to apply for a passport, I knew exactly what was going on because I had watched so many people not listen when they were instructed. Black ink only. It's in fucking crayon. No, sir. Black ink only, not crayon. Paul says, for most things, Media Mail and GA Cubic GA are pretty close in pricing. Might as well give customers the better service. Amen. Agree with that. All right. That's what I had for today. I'm hungry. We talked a lot about food today. I'm hungry. I need to get me some breakfast. Have a great day. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Value Box Digger says, if we were talking like a $20 plus difference in shipping cost, sure, it could be worth the risk, but it's like $1 difference plus 10 extra days. Yeah, it's actually creeped. Like I think you just joined us, but we looked and it's for 6 ounces for so that's like a single magazine or book. It's 23-cent difference from first class to Media Mail. Not worth it. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store. If you want soccer cards, I have soccer cards for you. They're probably shitty soccer cards, but they're soccer cards nonetheless. They're in my store. Buy 7 or more, 25% off at checkout. Go to 99centcards.com. Click the link in the description. We'll be back on tomorrow morning. It's Friday already. It's a short week for you office dwellers, 4-day work week. And we'll play Name That Player. We're going to throw another mix, little bit of everything tomorrow. Oh, we got some wrestling cards we might have to toss in tomorrow. Yes. Just what some of you absolutely despise. All righty. Like, subscribe. See you tomorrow.